Let's see, disputed trust fund rules. You guys know that rule, right? Let's check just to make sure that you do. In regards to trust monies, in regards to earnest money, right? If a buyer makes an offer, puts up earnest money, and it never goes under contract, what happens to the earnest money? If the buyer makes an offer and never goes under contract, he gets earnest money back, right? If a buyer makes an offer, it goes under contract, and the buyer breaches, notice I said the buyer breaches, so clearly we're outside of due diligence, right? The buyer breaches, what happens to the earnest money? The seller gets it as what? Starting with the letter L. Liquidated damages. Don't ask for more, seller. This is all you're getting. Okay? If the buyer and seller go under contract and the seller breaches because they can't deliver clear title, what happens to the earnest money? The buyer gets it back, but that small consolation, it was his money to start with. The buyer also can go back to the seller for what? Start with the letter C. Compensatory damages, pay me back all my money. Earnest money, due diligence, and all monies that I spent in an effort to acquire this property. You remember that?
Yeah.
What happens if a deal falls apart outside of due diligence and the buyer says, well, I want my earnest money back. I think you're in breach. And the seller says, no, I'm going to keep your earnest money. I believe you're in breach. No, I want it back. No, I want to keep it. Okay? What would you say we have starting with the letter D? We have a dispute. In the event of a dispute over the return or forfeiture of earnest money that's in a trust account, it's going to stay there until we get what? Written agreement of the parties in regards to its disbursement. Or we get a court of competent jurisdiction tells us what to do with it. I don't love this because this means somebody sued somebody and we act as witnesses, okay? Or we turn it over to the clerk of court and say, you guys, if y'all can't figure it out in 90 days, I'm going to give you written notice. If you can't figure it out in 90 days, I'm going to turn it over to the clerk of court, and then you can go try to get it back from the clerk of court. Okay? But notice that this was only predicated in the event of a what? Dispute. Because notice how seamlessly you answered the questions before that. Never goes under contract, buyer gets it back. Buyer breaches, seller gets it. Seller breaches, buyer gets it. Simple. Dispute, stays in. Make sense?
Yeah.
What's that? Look at him. Turn around and look at him. They're so engaged that I hate to break the lights down. Okay, let's break right there. We're going to get into some tough stuff, but